Hello, I'm Brandy Agerbeck of LooseTooth.com, and I help you reclaim drawing as your best thinking tool so you can see and shape your life and your work in new ways. Today, we're meeting a new idea shaper, and that idea shaper is the spectrum. Here we have it in wheel form, but truly this is our first of two idea shapers specifically about the decisions we make in our visual thinking about color. Now, this chapter in the book of the idea shapers, it comes in the second step, which is the sort and group step. And it's the end of the sort section, and truly the specific placement in the book is because we think of color as a color coding tool. So think about a way to sort things visually in a way that we can very quickly see where something belongs because it is color coded. So that's why that belongs there. But it certainly comes up a lot of different ways in our work, and I will admit that it was one of the hardest chapters to tackle in the book. And it took me a long time to figure out, why is this so darn hard? And a couple different reasons. One is that it is very, very emotional. We respond to colors in different ways. So, I think for some of you may see this and go, oh, look at that gorgeous color. Like, look at all that color. Like, it's just appealing to have all these bright colors. Others may say, oh, I only like this particular part of the color wheel or that particular part of the color wheel. And no doubt you know my favorite part of the color wheel, because I get really specific in that really gorgeous yellow-green area. Like, this is right over here. That's my happy place. So it's very emotional. We have a very emotional response, and that also makes it really personal. So you may have a very different response to that weird kind of acid green than I do. So some folks see this color and they just go, ugh. Like, right? Especially if it's that kind of grungier version. Whereas, you might say this is, your favorite color in the world, and I don't really like purple. Like, that's actually a weird blind spot color-wise. For me personally, but again, personal. You have your own history with color. You have certain colors you absolutely love because they are connected to teams you're on, schools you went to, countries you lived in, or for all those same reasons, you can have colors you hate. I know that for me, I super, super duper love this kind of yellow-green area. My dad was an Army brat and was in the Army himself. He hated Army green. So in America, Army green is a very specific color in our military. And because he grew up around it constantly, for him, it was, the opposite of his happy place. So again, color, very personal, very emotional. And that was the challenge in creating this chapter in the book, was how to talk about it in that way and help people understand it more objectively, because the subjective relationship to color is already there. Let's acknowledge that, but now let's talk about color more objectively. So the first concept I want to give you here, and then I'll go in more depth on something else next week in our second spectrum video. The first thing I want to talk about here is this principle that was in the first book, The Graphic Facilitator's Guide, and also lives in this book. The second, The Idea Shapers, is the concept of use color a lot versus using a lot of colors. Now, this is gorgeous and appealing because it is that spectrum, and you see this beautiful flow from one color to the next around the wheel. It's very orderly. There's a wonderful energy to it. I mean, who the heck, rainbows are fun things. And there's a siren at the hospital. So all those things are true. But what often happens is all this much color is equated with creativity. It's sort of like, I'm creative because I have got this color and that color. And, especially for folks who come from some kind of corporate environment where there's, they're either, their environment's gray or beige. Their company logo is either this color or this color. There's more colors and logos nowadays, but 20 years ago when I started doing this work professionally, you had this or this. That was it. And certainly if you work within an organization or corporation, you probably have to stick really close to a specific color set. And so you think like, oh man, like I'm so constrained by color. So if I have all the colors, it's better, right? No. This is what I call clown barf. There are so many different colors, you don't know what the heck to do with it. You don't know where to look. Every time you choose a color and put it in your drawing, whether it's for yourself personally or for an audience you're drawing in front of or working with, anyone looking at those colors are making meaning from those colors. So use color meaningfully. So like I said, you may work in a specific organization and be really sick of a particular color because, it's part of your branding and, that's all you see all the time. But there's very good reasons you see that color all the time. And that is that consistency and that constriction in color use gives the color more meaning. So for instance, if you work with a company where the color is blue, the brand colors are blue, then that you can associate that color with that organization. And you use it consistently, so you create that pattern in the viewer's mind, in the customer's mind, in the stakeholder's mind, in the employee's mind. Everyone wants to know that color is consistent and reliable. So whether the color is blue, whether the color is yellow, whether the color is red, there is a reliability of seeing that consistency in the use of the color. So that's part of the making a personal connection with color. But another reason, very simply, that you want to use color a lot, meaning you want to think about color a lot and use it very carefully versus using all the colors, right? A big reason is that it gives your eye visual rest and knows exactly what each of those colors is doing. So let's say I'm doing a color scheme. I forgot to get my little black ink drop, but let's say you're doing a color scheme where you're using these two colors. Now, you will meet later the trio, which is about using 3 colors. Now, I might use 3 colors where I have black, light blue, dark blue. Because it's connected to the content, because that trio of colors, lighter and darker colors, helps me organize. More about that later. Those are great reasons to use these particular colors. But in my drawing, I know exactly what this color is doing, and I know exactly what this color is doing. And in the drawing, there may be reason for me to say, you know what? I need to add another color, and I'm specifically picking this color because it's a really high contrast to these guys that are already in the drawing. Or you may say, I need to pick a new color, but I really want it to blend and be really close to what's already in the drawing. You certainly have all these different reasons for adding color, but that is using color a lot. Again, you're being mindful. It could be that you decide to add this color because this color has a specific meaning that needs to be added with these colors that you already have in your drawing. So that is the idea of using color a lot versus using a lot of colors. Just because you got all of them, doesn't mean that just because you have all of them does not mean you should use all of them, and my magnets aren't quite sticking. So you get the idea. So that is your first video, your first introduction to the spectrum in the Idea Shapers.